Today, Ruger and I, we're here to follow up on the Great Goat Escape. Come on, Rug. Come on, buddy. Now, you might notice Ruger's on a leash, and that's not normal. But we'll explain that here in a little bit. Can you hear that? Hear that humming? You see all those flies? This time of year around here, when it starts getting warm, we get all of these flies. I don't know if you can see those. And it's overwhelming how many flies we get. You know, they get on any flat, light surface that's in the direct sunlight to warm up. And that's a result of having commercial egg laying farms around in the area. And I'm going to tell you, they're not right down the road. They're 15 miles away. But the effect is still felt, you know, even as far as I am from them right now. And in addition to that, the Asian lady beetle was introduced as a predatory insect to help control the flies, and they're just as much of a nuisance. They bite, they stink, they get in between your siding and your house, you know, for the winter, and they're just as bad as the flies. And really, there's not been any noticeable impact on the flies that I've noticed. It's just that now, instead of having one nuisance insect, we've got two. But what we're talking about today is the goats. So the last time, they were leaping over my 3-foot hog panels. And so then, as a follow-up, I still got to keep them contained because they get out on the road. And if they wouldn't get out on the road, I'd let them free range. But I don't want to come home to a goat on the road and have to take care of that. So I got to keep them penned in when I'm not home. So attempt number 2, I erected I put up a 5-foot fence, 5 foot tall, with 1 by 2 inch squares in it, and it let me show you. You wouldn't believe. Now you see Ruger there? He I'll explain that in a minute. But right here, this here is the 5-foot fence, and you're like, Troy, that fence is all the way to your elbows. How did those pygmy goats ever get out of that fence? Well, I'm going to show you, because they're quite masterful when it comes to this stuff. I've since taken it down, as you can see. But if we go over here to this portion here, right here, you see that right there? They broke the fence. And it's probably not hard for them to break it. I should have been aware of this. This fence isn't the sturdiest. These little welds break free quite easily. And when they jump up on the fence and their hooves are pushing down, you know, with all of their body weight mostly. Look at that. See that hole right there? They broke some welds loose. Probably pushed their nose through first. And then they just, before long, had a hole big enough to squeeze through. And I'm going to say within 2 days, they were pretty proficient. They could get out of that pen in, I don't know, 15 seconds or so. So, attempt number 2 failed. Now, as you can see, they're well contained right now. And that's because of this electrified netting. This is this size grid or pattern is made for sheep and goats. And I want to tell you, the first time I put this up, goats are crafty. They got out. And I want to tell you, these goats are very social. They like being near me. You can see that they're following me along the fence. Part of that's because they're hungry. But the first time, the fence would touch their nose would touch the fence, whatever, and it would shock them. It'd shock them real good. And they would jerk and react as such. Both of them got shocked twice, but then I backed up like this, roughly at this distance, and I was watching them. And Sunshine, the one with the moon spots, she started to get frantic because she couldn't be near me. And it wasn't long before she put her nose between two strands of the fence right here. Don't do it, girls. And she got her nose about 3 inches through and then touched the fence. And it shocked her, and she charged right through the fence. And you might find it hard to believe, but that goat fit through that square right there. Boom! And when she did that, she pulled this post out, and the fence was laying down out of the way. And after that, Belle was able to just walk out. Well, the next day, I was able to come out here, spend a little bit of time. You know, it only took 2 times, but I finally got him trained to the fence. But as a result, Ruger got trained to the fence as well. And now Ruger no longer likes being farm dog. He's scared of it. And he doesn't associate getting shocked with just that white fence. He associates it with the barn. So he has drawn a line. He won't come down here to the barn. He stays roughly, I'm going to say, 200 feet from the barn. And that's not a good thing. And that's why you saw I had him on a leash, as I'm trying to acclimate him to coming down here to the barn. You can come down to the barn, just don't touch a white fence. And I think inside he really knows that it is the white fence, because as you can see, as we got over there closer to the fence, he wriggled his way right out of that leash and right back to the house. Otherwise, you know, Ruger would be right by my hip. Yeah, that's kind of what Ruger left me today. So, now, end result of the great goat escape. Yeah, they got away. They could leap the 3-inch or 3-foot hog panels, and yeah, they were able to bust a hole in the 5-foot, I'm going to call it garden fence, but the electrified sheep netting seems to be working. Now, something I want to show you about this solar charge panel. I learned this from my neighbor and the package that the thing came in. These goats, oddly enough, will require more electricity to keep them contained than cows, horses, or sheep. Cows and horses, they recommend 3,000 volts. This one here goes to 7,000. And 7,000 is what a goat requires. I'm going to blame that on just how stubborn a goat is. They will push through the pain and find a will. Where there's a will, there's a way. Whereas I think horses and cows may be more manageable in that sense. I could be wrong. You can correct me in a message, comments, or whatever. But as of now, 7,000 volts through electrified netting is doing the job. Now, as you can see, they've made ways to a lot of the taller weeds in here. So I will periodically relocate or move these or their pasture to try to control some of these nuisance weeds that I have out here in this pasture. So, till next time, that's all I've got. We'll see you.